Welcome everyone to the solving of Edexcel IGCSE Mathematics B November 2024 paper. We will be going through each of the questions with concise explanations to help you understand each and every single question as smoothly as possible. So bear with me and let's get started. Now starting with the first question, we have a pair of simultaneous equations. Now we have to solve these two equations. Let's just use the elimination method. So if we multiply the first equation by 7, we get 21x plus 35y equals 7.5 times 7. That gives us 52.5. So this is the first equation. And then if we multiply the second equation by 3, we get 21x plus 18y equals 3.9 times 3, which is 11.7. That is our second equation. Now the reason I have multiplied it with 7 and 3 is because I want to eliminate this x. So which means that I can subtract the second equation from the first equation. So this becomes 0, and 35 minus 18 gives us 17y. And 52.5 minus 11.7 gives us 40.8. So from this we can calculate the value for y, which is 2.4. Now we can calculate the values of x using either one of these equations. Let's just use the first equation, that is 3x plus 5y is equals to 7.5. So x is equals to negative 1.5. So that is it for the first question. Now moving on to the next question. The line L with equation y equals negative 2x minus 2 is drawn on the opposite grid. The grid opposite. So on the grid opposite, draw the graph with equation x minus y equals 4. So we can write this equation as x minus 4. So we just need to calculate 2 points. Since this is a straight line, we can find out any 2 points and connect those 2 points to draw the graph of this. So we know at x-axis the value of y is 0, so the value of x is 4. So one of the coordinates is 4 and 0. And at y-axis the value of x is 0, so the value of y is negative 4. So the other coordinate is 0 and minus 4. So one of them is 4 and 0, and the other one is 0 and minus 4. Now we can just connect these 2 points and extrapolate the points. So that is the graph of y equals x minus 4. Alright, now in the next question, on the grid opposite, draw the graph with equation 3y plus x equals negative 3. So again, we can write it as y equals negative x over 3 minus 1. So we just need 2 coordinates. One of the coordinates is the y-intercept, that is minus 1. So one of the coordinates will be 0 and minus 1. And for the other coordinate, let's just substitute x equals 3 into the equation. So when the value of x is 3, the value of y is minus 2. So we have 2 coordinates. One of them is 0 and minus 1. So that's 0 and minus 1. And the other coordinate is 3 and minus 2. 3 and minus 2. So that line will look something like this. And then finally we need to extrapolate the point. So this line has an equation of 3y plus x equals minus 3, I guess, right? Yep, 3y plus x equals minus 3. Now show by shading on the grid opposite the region are defined by all of the inequalities. So first of all, let's look at this part. Y is greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 2. So y equals negative 2x minus 2 is this line, so it's greater than, which means they're talking about this region. So this region is eliminated. Now the other one is 3y plus x is less than or equal to 3. So 3y plus x is less than or equal to 3. Less than or equal to 3. So which means that they're talking about this region. So this region is eliminated. Oh, not this region, wait. They're talking about this region because this is the line. So this region is eliminated. And for the other one, x minus y is less than or equal to 4. Now, keep in mind that y is negative in this part. You need to make y positive. So I can say that y is greater than or equal to x minus 4. Because I just brought this y to the right hand side of the equation and moved this 4 to the left hand side of the inequality. So that's greater than. So the line is this part, which means they're talking about this region. So the shading should be in this region. So this is the region R. This is region R. Now the point P with coordinates x and y lies in the region R. Given that y is an integer and P lies on the line with equation x equals 1. So the point P is in the region R and it lies, the point P lies in the region R given that y is an integer. All right. So y is an integer and the P lies on the line with equation x equals 1. So let's just draw x equals 1. So the point P lies on this part. And we know that the y coordinate of point P is an integer, which means that the only value I can see is write down all the possible y coordinates of the point P. So the only values I can see is this point and this point. So the y coordinates are -2 or -3. These two are integers. So that is it for this question. Now moving on to the third question. So we have a universal set given to us and we have three sets. There's P, E, F. P are prime numbers. So first of all, it is better if you write the elements in the sets by the side. So prime numbers meaning 2, 3, and 5, 7. Yep, these are the only values. And even numbers meaning 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And factors of 36, that is 2, 3, 4, and 6, and 9. Now we need to write down the elements of E prime, which means anything other than the set E. So it will not be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It will be 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now we need to write down the part of P intersection F prime. So let's first find out the F prime set. The F prime set will not be 2, 3, 4, 6, and 9. It will be 5, 7, 8, and 10. 5, 7, 8, and 10. So the common elements between the set P and F prime are 5 and 7. So this will be 5 and 7. Now we need to calculate the E union F, which means all of the values of E and F. So it will be 2, 3, 4, and 6, 8, 9, 10. So that is the answer for the first part. Moving on to the next question. 70 children were asked which flavors of ice cream they like from chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. So C, V, and S. 5 children like all of the ice creams. Now we need to complete the Venn diagram, so which means 5 children like all of the ice creams. So we have used this information. And 15 like strawberry only, which means they only like strawberry and nothing else. So that's 15. And 12 like chocolate only. So which means 12 people like chocolates only and nothing else. And 8 like none of the flavors. So they will be outside the circles. 6 like strawberry and vanilla. So strawberry and vanilla. In this region, there's saying that 6 people like both strawberry and vanilla. So 6 minus 5 will be 1. So that is the value for this region. 11 likes chocolate and vanilla. So this region is 11, which means this will be 6. 21 likes strawberry. So 21 likes strawberry. So which means this whole thing is 21. So if I subtract 5 and 1 and 15 from 21, I get 0. So this will be 0. 35 like vanilla. So this whole region represents 35 people. So if I subtract 6, 5, and 1 from 35, I will get the value for this region, which is 23. So that is the answer to part B. Now for part C, we need to find the number of elements in set C. So in set C, in set C, there are 12, 6, and 5 elements. So if we add them up all together, so 12, 6, and 5, that gives us 23. So the answer to this is 23. Now we need to find the number of elements in set C intersection V intersection S prime. So let's first find out what region they're telling us to find out. So C intersection V is actually this region, intersection S prime. So which means they're talking about this region. So which is 6. So the answer to this is 6. Now one of the 70 children is chosen at random, given that this child likes vanilla. Find the probability that this child also likes chocolate. So from the vanilla section, they have picked up a child who likes chocolate also. So which means that the total outcome The total outcome is 6 plus 5 plus 1 plus 23, which means the whole vanilla section. And the required outcome is the kid also likes the chocolate, which is 6 plus 5. That is 11 over 35. So that is the answer for the last part. And that is it for this question. Now moving on to the next question. We have a sector. We have a couple of sectors, three sectors to be exact, 1, 2, and 3. Now the sector angle, which is angle DOC, is 80 degrees. So that's 80 degrees. And OD is 6.6, which means this whole length is 6.6 centimeters. Now we need to calculate the arc length CD, this length. We know that the arc length, the arc CD would be 80 over 360 times 2 pi r. The radius is 6.6, which is equals to 9.22 centimeters. This is a formula, which is the formula that is theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Now let's look at the next question. The area of the shaded region ABEF. ABEF. Okay, this region is 5 over 12, the area of sector OCD. OCD. Let's find out the area of sector OCD. Area of sector OCD. The formula for this is 80 over 360 times pi r square. So the area of the shaded region is 5 over 12 of the area of sector OCD. Now we just need to calculate the area of ABEF. We know that if we replace this by ABEF, we need to multiply this whole value by 5 over 12, which gives us a value of 12.7 centimeters squared. So that is the answer to this part. Now given that OA is 1.1, O2A, this length is 1.1. So that's 1.1 meters. Now we just need to calculate the length AB. Okay. So in order to calculate the length of A and B, we can calculate the length of OB. So let's see how we can do that. We know that the area of ABEF plus area of OAF is equals to the area of OBE. This is a sector and this is a sector as well. We know the area of ABEF, which is 12.7. We can find out the area of OAF. We know the sector angle is 80 degrees divided by 360 times pi r squared. The radius is given to us as 1.1 centimeters. So it's 1.1 squared. And the area of sector OBE. Let's say that the length is OB. The radius is OB. The sector angle is 80. So it's 80 over 360 times pi r squared. So pi OB squared. So from this we can calculate the length of OB. So the length OB is about 4.4 centimeters. So now we can calculate the length of AB. We know that OB is 4.4 and this is 1.1. So we can say that the length AB is equals to 4.4 minus 1.1, which is equals to 3.3 centimeters. So that is the answer for this question. Now moving on to the fifth question of the paper. a bag contains 8 red counters and 5 blue counters only, which means that the total number of counters the bag has is 13. Now Imran takes at random 2 counters from the bag. Calculate the probability that these 2 counters are the same color. So let's first find out the combinations. The first counter might be red and the second counter might be red, or the first counter might be blue and the second counter might be blue. So the first counter to be red, the probability of that to be 8 over 13 times 7 over 12. Or let's find out the probability of the second combination. The first one to be blue is 5 over 13 and the second one to be blue is 4 over 12. So the final answer is 19 over 13. 19 over 39. So that is the answer to the first part. Now moving on to the second part. A box contains 11 black counters and W white counters only. So there are 11 black counters and W white counters. So total number of counters is 11 plus W. Now Nathalie takes at random 2 counters from the box. The probability that these counters are both white is 10 over 21. Calculate the value of W. Now we can say that the probability for the first one to be white and the second one to be white is 10 over 21. So the first one to be white is W over W plus 11. And the second one to be white, that will be W minus 1 divided by W plus 10. So that's 10 over 21. So now we just need to solve this equation. So one of the values of W is 25 and the other value is -4, but we know that W cannot be -4. So that is the answer to this question. Moving on to the next question. This is a solid shape S, which is made by fixing a solid right circular cone to the flat circular face of a solid hemisphere. Now the volume of this whole shape is 1660, and the volume of hemisphere to the ratio of volume of S is given as 8 over 25. 8 is to 25 or 8 over 25. Now first we need to find out the value of R. So we can say that the volume of the hemisphere is 8 over 25 multiplied by the total value, which is 1660. Now we can say it like this also. It's that the volume of the hemisphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now since this is the volume of a sphere, the hemisphere would be the half of a volume of the sphere. So that's 8 over 25 times 1660. So from this we can calculate the value of R. So the value of R is 6.33 centimeters. Now we need to calculate the value of h. So it's the same thing. It's that let's find out the volume of the cone. So we know that the volume of this hemisphere is 8 over 25 times 1660, which is 531.2. And the total volume is 1660. So if I subtract 531.2 from 1660, I will get the volume of the cone, which is 1128.8 centimeters square. Now I can say that 1 over 3 pi r square h is the volume of the cone. So the radius is 6.33. So pi r square h is 1128.8. So from this we can calculate the value of h. So the value of h is 26.9 centimeters. So these are the answers to question 6. Now moving on to the next question. This is a question from vectors, the vector chapter. Now there are 3 given vectors and the point D lies on OB. So the OB line will look something like this. This is the OB line. Now point D lies on OB such that OD equals 3 over 5 of OB, which means OD is to OB is 3 is to 5. So the point D will lie somewhere around this part and the ratio is 3 and 2. Find a simplified expression for AD in terms of A and B. Now let's first find out the OD vector. We can say that the OD vector is equals to 3 over 5 of OB. And we can write OB vector as the vector OA plus the vector AB. So that makes things much easier. So that's 3 over 2A plus 3B. So that's 9 over 10A plus 9 over 5B. Now we can calculate the AD vector. We can say that the AD vector is equals to the OD vector minus the OA vector. So that's OD minus OA. Yep, that's correct. So the OD vector is 9 over 10A plus 9 over 5B minus the OA vector, which is A. So that's minus 1 over 10A plus 9 over 5B. So that is the answer to the first part. Now moving on to the second part, the point E lies on CB such that CE equals K times CB. Alright. And given that ADE is a straight line, so A to D to E, that's a straight line. So the line will look something like this, which means that this is the point E. That is the point E. Now we can say that the CE vector is equals to K times CB vector. They have given us the equation. Now let's first find out the value of CB vector. For CB vector, we can say that the CB vector is equals to AB minus the AC vector. Or we do not know the AC vector, so that's a problem. Or we can just say that the CB vector is equals to minus 2B plus A and plus 3b plus half a. That is CO vector plus OA vector plus AB vector. And that way we'll get the CB vector. So that's minus 2b and plus a and plus 3b plus a over 2. So this is equals to 3 over 2a and plus b. So from this we can calculate the CE vector. CE vector is given as k times CB vector. So that's 3k over 2a plus k times b. So that's the CE vector. All right. Now ADE is a straight line, which means that we can create another equation from this. We can say that the AD vector is equals to the lambda of, not the AD vector, the AE vector equals lambda of AD vector. So we know that the AD vector is this, so that's minus lambda divided by 10, minus lambda divided by 10a plus 9 lambda over 5b. So that's the AE vector. Now we can find another equation for CE vector. We can write CE vector as CO vector plus OA vector plus AE vector. So that's another equation. So the CE vector is minus twice of B and plus A and minus lambda over 10A plus 9 lambda over 5B. Now if I take A as common, I get 1 minus lambda over 10 A plus, and if I take B as a common part, so that's 9 lambda over 5 minus twice 2 of B. So we have the same, we have different equations for the same vector, which means that I can now equate the coefficients. Let's first equate the coefficient of B. I can say that k is equals to 9 lambda over 5 minus 2. So k equals 9 lambda over 5 minus 2. So that's the first equation. Now let's equate the coefficient of A. That is 3 over 2k equals 1 minus lambda over 10. I can write k as 2 over 3 minus 1 over 10 divided by 3 over 2 minus 1 lambda over 15. Now from this we can, this is our second equation. From this we need to solve this simultaneously to find out the values of k and lambda. So we can say that 9 lambda over 5 minus 2 equals 2 over 3 minus lambda over 15. So solving these two equations give us lambda as 10 over 7 and k as 4 over 7. For this question we just needed to find out the value of k. Now we need to find out the ratio of AD is to DE. AD is to DE. All right. So we know that AD AE equals lambda of AD. So AE equals lambda of AD. The value of lambda is 10 over 7. So it's 10 over 7 AD. So I can say that AE is to AD is 10 is to 7. So if this whole thing is, oh wait, so AD is 7 and the whole thing is 10, which means this one is 3. Now we just need to find out the ratio of AD is to DE. So the ratio would be AD is to DE. The ratio is 7 ratio 3. So that is the answer for this part. And that is it for question 7. Now moving on to the next question of the paper. Chetan owns a fruit shop. In January, Chetan sold 560 kilograms of citrus fruit. In February, Chetan sold 518 kilograms of citrus fruit. Calculate the percentage decrease in the weight of citrus fruit sold. So the percentage decrease would be, the formula was the decrease, which is 560 minus 518, divided by the original value, which was 560 times 100%. So this is equals to 7.5%. So that is it for the first part. Now moving on to the second part. The table below shows the weight of citrus fruit, the weight of berries, and the weight of tropical fruit Chetan sold in March. Chetan is going to draw a pie chart for this information. Calculate the size in decrease of the angle of the sector in the pie chart for the weight of berries sold in March. Okay. So let's calculate the total weight. The total weight is 508 plus 126 plus 86, which is 720 kilograms. So I can say that in the pie chart, 360, oh, not 360, 720 kilograms is represented by 360 degrees. Now I need the value of degree for 126 kilograms. So 126 kilograms is represented by 360 over 720 times 126. So let's calculate this value. So 36 over 72 times 126. So this is 63 degrees. So that is the answer for part B. Now the table below gives information about the weight. Okay. Find the class interval that contains the median weight. So in order to find out the median position, we know that the total frequency is 30. So we need to divide 30 by 2. So we get 15. So 15th is the median position. So in the first class it's 10, and in the second class the cumulative frequency is 17, which means that the median lies in this class. So the answer is this value. W is greater than 5 but less than or equal to 10. Now we need to calculate an estimate for the mean weight in kilograms of berries sold on each day. So we need to calculate an estimated mean. So in order to do that, it would be better if you draw another column. This column will consist of the midpoints. So there will be a couple of rows. So for the first row, the midpoint will be 2.5, and for the second row, the midpoint will be 7.5, and for the third row, the midpoint is 12.5, and that's 17.5. This is 22.5. Now what we need to do is that we need to apply the formula in order to calculate the estimated mean. We need to multiply these values and add them up all together. So 10 times 2.5, that's 25, and 7 times 7.5, that's 52.5, and 6 times, wait, let's just do this in the next page. So the estimated mean will be 25 plus 7 times 7.5, which is 52.5, plus 12.5 times 6, that gives us 75, plus 17.5 times 5, which gives us 87.5, and plus 2 times 22.5, which gives us 45. Now we need to divide this whole thing by the total frequency, summation of the frequency, which is 30. So from this, we will get the value for the estimated mean, which is around 9.5. So that is the answer for the part D. All right. Now let's look at the next part. Chetan wants to buy 60 kilograms of apples for his shop from one of the following online traders. So there are two traders. One of the traders is US trader and the other one is French. Now 12 kilograms box of apples for 29.5 and the delivery is free. If you buy 4 boxes and get a fifth box free. Alright, now for the French traders, 1.72 euros per kilograms of apples. Total delivery cost of 22.8 euros. Special offer of 15% off the cost of apples and the cost of delivery. Alright, compare the cost including delivery of 60 kilograms of apples. Alright, for 60 kilograms, let's say for the US traders, let's work with the US traders first. So for the US traders, total cost for, I mean, not the total cost, the cost for 60 kilograms of apples. So 12 kilograms cost 29.5. So 12 kilograms cost $29.5. I think we need the final answer in dollars. Okay, they did not say anything. Let's just do the whole thing in dollars. So 12 kilograms cost $29.5. So 60 kilograms would cost 29.5 divided by 12 times 60. So that is 147.5 kilograms. I mean $5. So that's 60 kilograms. Now 12 kilograms box of apples for oh, okay, so there's another thing, is that we require 5 boxes, right? So which means that if we buy 4 boxes, we get the 5th box for free. So let's first calculate the, okay, so let me just do this all over again. We need 60 kilograms and each box can hold 12 kilograms. So there must be 5 boxes in total. So let's first calculate the, wait, one box costs $29.5. So 4 boxes will cost 4 or 5 boxes because you're getting the 5th one for free. So that's 12, not 12, 4 times $29.5, which is 4 times 29.5 is $118 for 5 boxes of apples. So this is the total cost if you buy the apples from the US traders, because the delivery cost is free and you're just paying for the cost of the apples. Now for the French traders, what we can do is that, okay, let's just do that later. First of all, okay, for French traders, the per kilograms of apple costs 1.72 euros. So let's now work with French traders. For French traders, the cost of apples, let's first find out the cost of apples only, which is 1.72 euros times, we need 60 kilograms of apples. So 1.772 times 60, that gives us 103.2. 103.2 euros. That's only the cost of apples. Now let's add the delivery cost. The delivery cost is, let's find out the total cost. So let's say cost price. So 103.2 plus the delivery fee, which is 22.8, and a special offer of 15% off the total cost of apples and the cost of delivery. So we can multiply this by 0.85, which gives us 107.1 euros. Now we need to convert this to dollars. Now we know that 0.92 euros represent $1. So 107.1 euros will represent 1 over 0.92 times 107.1. This much dollars. 107.1 divided by 0.9. So that gives us $116.4. So $116.4. Oh, no, it's not degree dollars. So if you buy from the US traders, the total cost is $118, and if you buy from the French traders, the total cost is $116.4. So it would be best if he buys from the French traders. So compare the cost. Okay, that's good. So French traders are cheaper. So that is the answer to question 8. Are you still stuck in chapter 1? While exams race closer, watched a dozen videos but still receiving the same marks in tests? Well, it's not you, it's the method. Let's fix that. Now welcome to Exam Essentials, where every second counts and every session hits. We usually offer 2 signature courses for O and A level students. The number 1 is the High Impact Crash Course. It is launched 5 to 6 months before every exam session. Whether you're a 2025 or 2026 candidate or any future sessions, this course is your fast track to astonishing results. And the number 2 course is our complete 1-year course. It is designed for 2026 and 2027 candidates or beyond. Now to know more, check the description box or text us directly on WhatsApp or our Facebook page. Stop struggling, start scoring. Your true potential is waiting. The time is now. Now moving to question 9. The function f is defined for all values of x by this. Now first we need to write down the range of f. Now if we draw this function, if we sketch this function, the function should look something like this. And the turning point is -8. Now as you can see that there are no values below -8. So the value of fx is greater than or equal to -8. Now we need to calculate the value of f2. So for f2, that's 3, 4 minus 8. 2 square minus 8, which gives us 4. Alright, the function g is defined by this, and the function h is defined by this. Right. Given that hg inverse x is equals to 6.1, which means if you substitute the value of g inverse x into hx, you get 6.1. Let's first find out the value of g inverse x. So g inverse x has an equation of y equal 2x squared plus 4x minus 3. Now what we need to do is that we need to make x the subject. So we can take 2 common, so that's x squared plus 2x minus 3. Now if we apply the perfect square formula, we get x plus 1 whole squared minus 1 minus 3. So finally y equals 2 times x plus 1 whole squared minus 2, and minus 3 gives us minus 5. Now if we make x the subject, making x the subject will give us There's another way to do this instead of just doing it like this, finding out g inverse x. Well, we can do it in the other method, but well, let's just continue with this. Let's see where this gets us. So that's y plus 5 divided by 2 root over minus 1. So I can say that g inverse function is x plus 5 divided by 2 root over minus 1. Now I can say that hg inverse x is 6.1, which means, so that's 3 times x squared. X squared will be g inverse x. Let's just assume that this g inverse x is, let's say this is x, in order to make the calculation much easier. So that's 3x squared. That's 3x squared minus plus 6x minus 2 equals 6.1. So from this we can calculate the value of x. I mean, the x we have counted as, so it's minus 8.1 equals 0. So we have x as 0.924. One of the values 0.924, and the other value is, oh wait, the other value is negative 2.9. Now as you can see that this g inverse x must be greater than minus 1. So it must be greater than minus 1, which means this is the only value and x cannot be minus 2.92. So this x represents the g inverse x, which is 0.924. Now we know that g inverse x is root over x plus 5 divided by 2 minus 1 equals 0.924. So from this we can get the value for x. So the value of x is 2.4. So that is the answer for this question. Moving on to the next question. In the first part, we need to complete the table for the values of x. So this will be minus 3, and this is 6, and this is 0, and this is 9. Right, now on the grid opposite, plot the points from your completed table and join them to form a smooth curve. So we need to draw the curve in this grid. So the graph should look something like this. It's a cubic graph, of course. Now moving on to the next part. By drawing a suitable straight line, at least 3 centimeters long on the grid, find an estimate to the nearest whole number of the gradient of the curve at the point where x is equals to negative 2. So when x is negative 2, at this point, we need to draw a tangent. So the tangent should look something like this. So this is the tangent. Now you need to calculate the gradient of this tangent. Now let's assume that the gradient of this tangent is 16. So that would be the answer to question question of part C. So the gradient is 16. Now by drawing a suitable straight line on the grid, find the range of values of x for which this is greater than 1. Now as you can see that this part of the equation is identical to our curve. So which means I can write this as y is greater than 1. So let's first draw the line where y is equals to 1. So y is equals to 1 is in this part. So y is greater than 1. Which region represents the value of y as greater than 1? First of all, I can say that it's this region and it is this region. So at this point, the value of x, let's assume it's around, so that's 1.5678. So that's minus 1.8. Let's just assume it's minus 1.8. And at this point, the value of x is 0.4. And at this point, the value of x is 1.123, 1.3. So this region, in order to represent this region, you can say that its x is greater than 1.3. And in order to represent this region, you can say that x is greater than 1.8, negative 1.8, but less than 0.4. So that is the answer for this question. Now moving on to the next question. It is the last question of the paper. It's that triangle A and D are drawn on the grid opposite. Okay. Now triangle A is transformed to triangle B under a rotation of 180 degree about the point with coordinates 3 and 1. So it has been rotated about 180 degree about the point with coordinates 3 and 1. So 3 and 1. So it has been rotated. So let's take this point. If it is rotated 180 degree, it would be at this point, 4 and 1. And let's take this point. If I rotate this 180 degree, it would be around 5 and minus 2. So that's the new point. And I know that if I take this point and rotate this about 3 and 1, it would be 5 and 1. So triangle P will look something like this. So this is the triangle B. Now triangle A is transformed to triangle C under reflection in the line with equation y equals minus 0.5. So let's first draw the line, which is y equals minus 0.5. So it will be around this part. So if I want to reflect triangle A on in the line y equals negative 0.5, this is y equals negative 0.5. So the first coordinate will be at this point, the other coordinate will be at this point, and the next coordinate will be at 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Will be in this point. So this is the triangle C. Now triangle D is transformed to triangle E under the transformation with matrix M, where M is equals to this. Draw the on the grid, draw and label the triangle E. Alright, so let's first take the coordinates of triangle D. So for triangle D, the coordinates will be, let me just draw this on this part. Triangle D is minus 1 and 1. So it's minus 1 and 1, and minus 1 and 4, minus 1 and 4, and minus 2 and 4. So it's minus 2 and 4. Now if I multiply this by the matrix M, I will get triangle E. So that's minus 2, 0 and 0 and minus 2. So the resultant matrix will be 2 minus 2 and 2 minus 8 and 4 minus 8. So this is the triangle C, I guess. Oh, not triangle C, triangle E. Okay. So that's triangle E. Let's draw the triangle E. So it's 2 and minus 2, 2 and minus 2. So one of the points will be in this part, and 2 and minus 8, 2 and minus 8, and 4 and minus 8, 4 minus 8. So this is the triangle that we're looking for. This is the triangle E. Now describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle E. So we know that it has been enlarged, so that maps A onto triangle E. So A to E. We clearly know that the triangle has been enlarged. Now the scale factor is 2, because as you can see that this has a length of 3 units and this has a length of 6 units. So the scale factor would be 2. Now let's find out the center. So in order to find out the center, we need to join the corresponding points. So the center is, oh wait, A on E. Okay. No, that's not the center. Let me just erase the triangle C so that it's much easier for me. Now if I extend these lines, I need to find the point of intersection of all of the lines. Extending these lines get us somewhere around this part. Oh wait, I did not connect the corresponding points. Sorry for that. One of the points would be this. Just draw this in blue. The points will be this, and the other point will be this point, and another point will be this one. So they must all intersect somewhere around the upper region, which is 0 and 10, I guess. Yep, it's around 0 and 10. The sketch is not quite accurate, that's why you cannot understand it, but it is 0 and 10. So the transformation would be enlargement. So it's enlargement by scale factor of 2 through center 0 and 10. So that is it for this part. Now moving on to the next part. Triangle A is transformed to triangle F under a rotation of 90-degree anticlockwise. So which means A to F, it's 90-degree anticlockwise. So which means you need to multiply by this matrix, 0, minus 1, 1, 0. And for F to G, you need to multiply it by this matrix. Let's just call this matrix matrix M. Okay, so that's not matrix M, matrix, let's say it's matrix T, and 0, minus 1, 1, 0 is matrix R. Let's just assume. Alright, it's matrix T and matrix M. Now triangle G is the image of triangle A under the transformation, under the matrix N, which means if you multiply A by the matrix N, you'll get the triangle G. Given that N inverse is this, find the value of K. So we can say that N is equals to R times T, which means that the rotation matrix, that is 0, minus 1, and 1, 0, multiplied by the transformation matrix, which is 7 minus 2k times 2, 2 and 4. So this will be 2 and 4, 2k minus 7 and minus 2. Now this is the matrix N. Let's just copy this and write it in the next page. Now the N inverse is given as 1 over 10 times minus 1, minus 2, and 3 and 1. So it's minus 1, minus 2, 3, and 1. And I can write N inverse as 1 over minus 4 times minus 4 times 2k minus 7 multiplied by minus 2 and 2 and minus 4 and 7 minus 2k is equals to 1 over 10 times minus 1 and 3 minus 2 and 1. So that's 1 over, so this is 24 minus 8k times minus 2 minus 4, 7 minus 2k times 2 is equals to 1 over 10 times minus 1, 3 minus 2 and 1. Now we do not know if these two are in its simplest form. The matrix are in its simplest form, so we cannot equate these two values. Let's equate these two values, which is minus 2 times 1 over 24 minus 8k. That's 24 minus 8k equals minus 1 over 10. So these minus signs cancels each other out. So it's 1 over 12 minus 4k equals 1 over 10. So I can say that this is 10 equals 12 minus 4k. So k is equals to 0.5. So that is the answer to this question. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far and understood everything clearly. Please do not forget to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.